And we're going back in there, and we're going to get into our second half to talk about our favorite topic being college football. So, Connor and I both agree on the top 3 in the nation. So, Connor, what is our official Friends Stream Sports top 3 for college football right now after Clemson lost to Notre Dame?
As it stands, we both have Alabama number 1, Ohio State number 2, and Notre Dame number 3. But there's something missing with that, Rutledge.
And that's
number 4.
And that's definitely number 4. So I think, as we sort of discussed, Bama and Ohio State have been running the table. Even though we were all poo-pooing on Big Ten being in there, I have not seen enough eye test teams that I think could beat Ohio State if ranked enough. And then, of course, number 3 is Notre Dame. Connor, let's get yours. Who is your number 4?
You know, it pains me to say it, Rutledge, but I gotta say Florida, right? I don't call me the really mad, upset Florida State fan that is still a little salty at Jimbo Fisher. I don't think A&M's for real. I don't see any of these teams on the outside looking in being for real. I think Clemson. The fact I did call it, by the way, and Clemson were only slipped to 4. I don't think that should be the case. I think as it stands right now, Florida Gators should be number 4. They overcame. Here's an interesting stat. They gave Kirby Smart his first loss as a head coach in which a Kirby Smart coach team scored a defensive touchdown. Right. So you always talk about turnovers. Not only did Georgia have a couple turnovers, or I guess just that one, but scored a touchdown immediately off of that. They went back and they showed their superior personnel to Georgia. They worked a very suspect defense, which was supposed to be good, came out being very suspect, and we know that Dan Mullen can put together a game plan. But not only did he do that, but he just showed that he's got better players than Georgia, which they're as good as everyone's saying that they are, is definitely a real feat. So Florida Gators, number 4. What about you, Rutledge? What do you think?
I'm also going to take the Florida Gators at number 4, and I will sort of give it to them why. I think that loss they had earlier to Texas A&M proved it's that college playoff committee loss at the right time. They definitely lost when they needed to lose to just sort of get it over with and take off into the season. I think losing when Clemson did, obviously you have Trevor Lawrence has got coronavirus, so it's not going to be held against them. But I think that we're going to sort of ignore that Florida's a one-loss team. I think Texas A&M, the reason they're ranked there, I'm with you. I don't believe in them. I think they're ranked just to boost up Florida so this way people can believe in Florida more often. They made Georgia look lost. One of the trainers at the gym I go to, he's a huge Georgia fan, and he's been questioning Kirby Smart and his coaching staff, and a lot of people are sort of rumbling about that with that big loss. I think, though, for Florida to make it, they're going to have to run the table. I think Mullen's going to have to dial it up and keep scoring lots of points. I will say that I, out there in the world, called Florida's offense a little boring, but to which I stand corrected after 44 points against Georgia, so I apologize. But I really think Florida has to look impressive to make it, because they're going to still have to play Bama in the championship game, and we have to see what Clemson and Notre Dame look like down the stretch. So I definitely have Florida all the way.
Fun fact, before I ask you a quick hypothetical, Matt Ryan in this video game's only incompletions have been interceptions. So that's a fun fact.
That is a fun fact. You are playing in rare form. Look at him go.
So I would say this in terms of Florida's offense, and it's why I felt so strongly about thinking that the Gators were number 4. This is going to sound odd. This might sound odd, but the fact that they kept on running the same play over and over and over against Georgia, I did find a little boring. But it worked. So you keep doing it. You keep doing the things that work. They kept on taking that running back and just wheeling him out and really trying to, really trying to make those Georgia linebackers work. But we do know Dan Mullen can coach and can coach really well. But if one play works, why do you worry about running something else? But Rutledge, let me ask you this. If Florida gets to the SEC championship game, which is kind of what we're thinking, and they lose to Alabama, would they still be a number 4 type team, or would we look to the whatever the turnout of the ACC championship game be in terms of the final playoff team?
I really think that's going to be a result of score. So with that situation, I also think Florida going in against Bama is going to be like a 14-point underdog. Florida's not going to run into Bama and be like, it's not going to be a 3-point game like when Georgia played Bama in the SEC a couple years ago. I really see it that it's going to be, even with Florida at number 4, it's going to be whoever, and this is assuming Ohio State remains undefeated and wins the Big Ten, it's going to be whoever keeps it close against Alabama, or if Clemson returns to the way they were. Now, if Clemson's is still falling off because Trevor Lawrence doesn't play defense, then I really think that opens up the picture to everything. But I think that whoever goes has to at least make it into the college football, into their conference championship.
So,
Connor, who do you have?
You're saying if Trevor Lawrence and Clemson, presumably getting to the ACC championship game, if he doesn't look good and Clemson doesn't look good, they should still stay out. That's what you're saying.
If he does get there, and they lose the ACC championship game, Clemson should stay out. If Clemson runs the table from here on out and wins everything, they should be in. But if they look like they're falling apart, then they should go out. Oh, no. Pick in the end zone by Connor.
It's a well-timed interception.
Well, as usual, going into the fourth quarter, it gets interesting.
So, yeah, no, I agree. I think that Clemson, they've got to run the table. A 2-loss Clemson team just won't get into the playoffs. Got to give it to Notre Dame. Notre Dame, I know everyone's talking about how Clemson, didn't have Trevor Lawrence and a few defensive players. Notre Dame left about 3 touchdowns out on the field. There was a few times that Notre Dame was driving in the red zone and just couldn't convert. And I am sure when they've turned the film on that they were kicking themselves, kind of saying, "Good grief, what is going on around here?" So definitely, everyone's going to talk about Clemson, but I think Notre Dame played a really strong game, and I think, assuming that Notre Dame plays Clemson again, the only other opportunity for that not to be the case would probably be a Miami. I think Clemson's still going to give, or Notre Dame's still going to give Clemson everything that they want, and then some. So, could be interesting, but as you and I are both in agreement right now, the number 4 team in the land is the Florida Gators, and hopefully they break our kiss of death.
Oh, no, who knows? Now that we've given them the number 4 seed, it could be the kiss of death for the end of the Florida Gators. We'll see, because if Florida can't go there, I just don't feel like Texas A&M should. So, still a wild college football season, still a wild playoff.